Woo-wee! Indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for sharing the space with me, for keeping the space for me. It's been a rainy day. After being extremely hot, after me not going to sleep properly. I was up until well past 5 a.m. Still up, mind still running. I made some fractal works of art. There's this piece of software called Mandelbulb 3D, something like that. If you search that, you would be able to find it. But it's basically this piece of software. It creates these three-dimensional fractals, and then you can set the composition. You can find a scene, if you will, and then you can render that scene out. And it was a lot of fun. I started with like these 373 kilobyte files, looking at these fractals, and they're like pixelated as I've ever seen a fractal before. And then I figured out how to make them higher quality, and now I have 35 megabyte image file sizes. Golden Trunks, happy Friday to you, friend. Thank you for joining us. I'm rolling up some of my favorite bud, well, my best bud, the bud that cured the pest, if you will. And today's topic, today's message, today's feeling that I want to explore rather, is, can you hurt something? Can you hurt someone in a positive way? You know, and that's a weird one to ask, I know. And what would we set as our intention for that? I drank 3 coffees. I'm like on 4 hours of sleep. So if I'm all over the place, do excuse me. I'm going to write something in Afrikaans, and it directly translates into Buig die boompie. Buig die boompie means bend the tree. And that's, I feel, what our intention is today, is to bend the tree. Buig. Die. Die means this or that or for. Die boompie. Boompie is tree. Bend the tree. And the reason I want to talk about, is there a positive way, if you will, to hurt someone, to to be a little bit harsh with someone is because today, and I started yesterday technically, I started trimming one of my plants. So I posted this photo on my Patreon, the behind the scenes, hint hint, and it's this photo of me giving one of my cannabis plants a hug, and I'm like 10%, if even 10% of mass next to this plant. That's how big it is, you know. If you had 10 of me stacked up next to each other, chest to chest, if you will, it would be the size of that plant. It's that big. And before trimming it, I made the decision to take a photo of it first. I asked my brother to help me take a photo of it. He stayed with me a little bit as I was trimming these little branches. And then today, I continued again, you know, trimming a little bit more. It was so hot. I was like dripping in sweat as I'm underneath this tree, you know, like trimming the little small stems that are kind of hidden, if you will, inside of the rest of the bush. Doesn't get any light, gets really undeveloped buds as well, so it's just wasted energy, if you will. And as I was doing this, I was thinking to myself that this plant probably doesn't like what I'm doing right now. You know, on a realistic level, I'm cutting appendages off of this plant. And a bunch. I cut like maybe 4 kilograms worth of weight, like 8 pounds of weight off of that plant. You know, entire branches, a lot of leaves. Like I had a bushel like this of branches that I was throwing away. Bushel like this. And I understand, you know, in my mind, I understand what I'm doing. I understand that I am trimming this plant's lower branches because if they actually gain weight, they're just going to fall directly onto the ground, and then, you know, that bud is going to be lost. And the energy that could have been put into other buds will be lost alongside with it. But to the actual plant, that must be a high stress situation. It couldn't even be a nice situation. And I think to myself, like in my mind, I understand what I'm doing. I understand that I'm trimming this plant in order to, you know, distribute energy more efficiently. I'm trimming this plant so that sun can reach certain areas of the plant. You know, light also helps fight off disease, infection. But this plant probably just notices the assault of me just straight up assaulting this plant. And I was thinking to myself, is it that way in the outside world as well? Yesterday, a friend called me. Adam called me after not talking to me for months. He actually called me. And it was essentially a call where he was apologizing. I was telling him it's okay. He was apologizing again. I was telling him it's okay. Apologizing again. Me telling him it's okay. And like that back and forth until it came to a silent place. But during that conversation, I still had some things I wanted to have said. I said to him that God, the universe, this world only helps you if you're willing to help yourself. It's one of the things I said to him because at this moment in his life, it feels like he doesn't believe. Not in himself, not in the world, and nothing. And if that is what he believes, then God says yes to that as well. You know, it's like, oh, you don't believe in anything? I'm not going to give you anything to believe in. And we had this phone call, and I was not stern, I was concerned, you know, for his well-being, for where he's going right now. And it was beautiful. But it can also be seen, it was in my opinion beautiful, but it can also be seen as an assault, as an offense to, as an attack on. In the same way that this plant can see me, you know, pruning its branches as attack on, as an offense to, you know, and I wonder about that. I wonder about this friend of mine. I wonder about our ability to perceive information like that. I wonder if there are things about ourselves that we need to prune. Are there things that need to get cut off that we might want to keep, but if we keep it, it's only going to end up in disaster, you know? And this is me trying to make an analogy from low-hanging branches dropping onto the floor and then having bud wasted. You can think of it as these things you do in your life, you know, the parts of your your life that you don't necessarily invest a lot of energy into, but you still invest energy into. But because you're investing energy into it, a little bit of energy into it, there is going to be some development. But the amount of development that could have been there for all of the other areas of your life is now going to not be at a loss, but have some sort of lack because you have invested energy somewhere else. And the tree, like I was thinking to myself, how cool would it be if I had this, I don't know if I would call it Jedi power, it's just powers that I could touch one of the branches. And instead of having to snip it off individually, this branch would just suddenly suck back into the plant, and all of that energy would get redistributed. I was like, yeah, that would be pretty sick. But it doesn't work like that. We can't just suck all of the time up, that we've lost, if you will. We can't just undo the thing that we've done. It has to be a pruning. It has to be something that we cut out of our lives. And it's difficult. Good morning. Much better today. Thank you for all of the help yesterday, friends. Jenny, what a blessing it is to hear you're doing better. It's been raining today, so I'm so happy to be sharing the beautiful scenery and the birds with you. I think it stopped now. I'm happy to hear you doing better, my friend. How are your kids? Thank you for the love, Gob Nugget. 23 Rena says, hi friends, how are you today? It's been a while, friend. Been a long while. How have you been? I've been well. How's your new year been? Have you have you any New Year's resolutions? Have you any dreams for this year? Do tell. Frankie Marie is here as well. Little Republic, you smoke tobacco? No, I don't smoke tobacco, friend. Right now, I'm going to be smoking marijuana. I'm an incel, help. An involuntary celibate. My friend, I wish I could. I consider myself at this point in my life a voluntary celibate. It's been I'm going on my fourth year of not being in a relationship. So I'm the last person, that you have to ask. I'm so sorry, dude. I I could try to give you other advice, but I do not know. I also do not know. I'm just waiting, bro. I'm patiently waiting. I can almost smell the green. Love the after rain smell. Me too. Me too. Like this. Let me call it. I keep forgetting the freaking name for it in English. Patio was so hot after the blazing sun of today. When it started raining, it was the steam coming off it. And I was standing here looking at the farm as the rain was coming down. And as the steam was rising, with it came that dusty rain smell, if you will. And I was like, yes, yes, this is in fact exactly where I need to be. Sniffing all of them rain steams, I guess. And it was literally steaming. You could literally see the vapor coming off of the floor. Tough love. Golden Trunk, I don't even know if it's just tough love. I feel it's love. It's actual love. It's perceived as tough. But I just think it's love. I love that plant so much. And I know she's gonna get hurt if I don't help her. So I help her, even though it might hurt her in this moment. It is going to be something that's going to be benefiting her in her future, if you will. Petrichor. That is the name of the dusty rain smell. Ah, a petrichor. Ah, petrichor. Like petrified. Like a petrified choir. Petrichor. It's like every single drop of rain falls on little beings, and then they're petrified and they sing, and that sing makes a smell. Petrichor. Let's see if I remember. Thank you for teaching me a new word. Now I can be that douchebag at a party as soon as it rains. Oh yes, I can sense the petrichor. Everybody's like, what is this dude on about? Hello to you, Edmund, my brother Bear. I've missed you. I don't know if it's been that long, but thank you for joining us again. I sent you a message. Please be sure to read it. I will, 23 Rena. Thank you for sending a message. You mean buig het boompie? Nee, buig die boompie, my vriend. Ek is Afrikaans, nie Nederlands nie, salty kid. Maar dankie. Has a crush on you, Chad. I'm not a Chad, my friend. Oh, very much not. I think at one point in my life, I was. I wasn't really a Chad. I looked like a Chad, but I was a Chad. I was a gamer nerd disguised as a Chad. Literally, I'm not even joking about this. I had the body of a football player and the haircut of a football player. And then when people would ask me, it's not really football, we would say rugby speler. But then when people would ask me what position I play in rugby, I'd be like, I don't play rugby. And they're like, excuse, what? Why not? Man. I was like, I play games. And they're like, oh, you're a loser. I'm like, yes. Now you got it. Grateful to be here with all of you today. Ryan, L. Stanley, Brother Bay, thank you so much for joining us. What do you think about the new works of art I've been making, dude? They make me so happy. They make me so happy. I've been making 3D works of art and it's surreal. Like I've had that software, Ryan, for a year now, and I started using it, and then I got so frustrated because I couldn't get any good information out of it. And then yesterday, I sat down at my computer and I started creating, like 12 o'clock. And then before I knew it, it was 5 a.m. And I was just like, I made 3 different works of art in that 5 hours, and it was surreal. It was so surreal. It felt like in that moment, me and the software were getting to know each other, where the last time I was a stranger and the software was a stranger. Now we're friends. Eat a pickle. I guess that could help. What do you use your trim for? So I wasn't trimming the actual bud right now, Edmund. I was trimming branches, branches that kind of come out at the bottom branches and then reach to go and get some sunlight. Those I cut because as soon as they start developing heads, bloop, they just drop onto the ground. And I did make clones. I made 8 little clones. So now I know if those clones take and I plant those clones, I'm guaranteed to have female plants, which is really nice as well. Getting to know a program is a blast. It really is, Jovan. Like I've started to learn Blender, but I wasn't enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying learning this fractal software, and it's old. It's like it's so old. It's kind of bad software, but it's really fun. Getting to know is genuinely. Thank you for joining us, Jovan. How are you doing, my friend? How has your work been? Actually, talking about software, you work with a lot of software. Our intention for today is buig die boompie, which directly translates into bend the tree. And it's with this. Technisch is die volgesagte. Technically, the full saying is buig die boompie terwyl hy jonk is, which means bend the tree while it's still young. And that message, that feeling, that energy is what I want to explore today. Good morning to you, the bearded. Why can't I say that freaking word every single time? Kaya Troyet. I don't know why, dude. Like my brain is like, yes, Kaya Troyet. It's nice to have you, brother. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? How's the family? Do you use Head and Shoulders? This is the third day of me not washing my hair. I do like 3 days not washing, then 1 day on, 3 days not washing. After having gone for like 18 years of daily, well, almost 21 years, 22 years of like washing my hair every single day. Now I'm like swapping off, and the stuff I'm using right now is a German name. One of you friends will know. Something Kopf, I think. It's my mom's shampoo. My mom always gets herself the nicest shampoos. And then if I use it, I get scolded. But my hair feels so great, so I don't care. We had to kick our friend out of our band to get him to face his alcoholism. It hurt him, but definitely helped him in the long run. Golden Trunks, and it's difficult doing stuff like that. Like, can you tell me, how long it took you, friends, to come to that decision? I mean, that could not have been something that was easy. How much communication was there amongst yourselves? Did you try and communicate with him? There's a chicken with 3 chicks that have been roaming around. I'm only seeing 2 of her chicks right now. She's a really bad mom. At one point I was just walking about and I just see these random chicks. kind of lost. And then as I started walking around, they started manically, cheeping and running away. And then I see this mama chicken come out of the grass. So they lost her as well. Greetings to you, Melita, my beloved friend. Thank you for sharing this space with us. I don't know what that burb is. I don't know if you on Reddit can see it, not just yet. Dude's just walking on the grass. Rena, the universe gives us infinite opportunities. We just need to accept them as such. Some things need to go to be able to create space for new things. Things are permanent. They just change their form. Melina, beautiful words. Thank you so much for sharing the space and your wisdom with us as well today. How are you feeling? Last day. Last day before the big day. That's all I'm going to say. How are you feeling about it? So, bending the tree, friends. Bending the tree. This is, Golden Trunk says, tough love. Tough love. Me and Christian also had an amazing phone call last night. And Christian said something to me that he thought was going to be an insult at first. He told me that I remind him a lot of my dad. And I'm like, oh, that's not an insult. Me and my dad are very similar in a lot of ways. And he's like, but specifically in your uncompromising belief of things. My dad believes in the Christian religion, and uncompromisingly so. I believe in love, and uncompromisingly so. And I believe in what I believe in with the amount of certainty that there's no room for doubt in my mind when it comes to these things. And it was something that Christian mentioned to me yesterday that I wasn't aware of. And he tells me about this belief. He compliments the fact that I have this belief. And then he prefaces it with a warning / concern, where he was like, I see you believe in things. I know that you have this capacity to believe in things. I just don't want you to get hurt by believing in things that might not realize. And I realized in that moment that he was trying to give me some tough love as well. And I don't know if it was a retaliation. I responded with this imagination, vision, feeling I had where I was confronted with two realities. One reality where I achieved everything I could have ever wanted, got my wife and kid, got my nice car, got my house, got my food to eat until I die, got my, whatever, show, got my own gallery, like every possible, this is what success is. It showed me getting that, everything, literally everything, whatever you can think of, I had it. And it showed me this throughout my entire life. A few years passed, I get this other thing that I've always wanted. A few years passed, I get this other thing that I've always wanted. And then I die at the end of this vision. And I see myself dying, and I see, people around me. I'm happy. And it's like, okay, you saw that? And then it shows me again this entire reality, this entire imagination again, where I don't achieve anything. I don't achieve a single thing. I stay on the farm my entire life. We do this, we share these moments like this, exactly like this, our entire lives, on this farm, on these phones, I don't even change the phones my entire life. And I die. And I have, loved ones around me. And it came back to back. It came back to back in a way where it's like, okay, here is the life where you get everything that you think you want, and then you die. Here is the life where you get nothing that you think you want, and then you die. What was really important? It asks me. And I sit there and I think to myself, the ones I shared it with. And it's like this ding, 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 ding. It goes up in my head. And I get up and I go and spend time with my parents. Just like that. And I share the story of Christian yesterday with him sharing his tough love with me. I share it in that detail with him. I tell him how the things I dream about, the things we as a collective are dreaming about right now, are dreams. And they're supposed to be these dreams because if we can dream them, then we can try to realize them. We can have a collective dream, and that collective dream can be realized. But even if this collective dream isn't realized, it doesn't take any of the beauty away. It doesn't take these moments away. It doesn't take our ability to share space with one another away while we are here. Success has so many different, parameters for every single person. It's difficult for us to say with any certainty anything. Tough love. Tough love. So confusing. Part of the beauty of this existence is the impermanence of everything. Exactly, Edmund. We're not living. We're not scared of dying. We are happy to be alive because we know death is a thing. There's a difference. There's a very visceral difference in being scared of the act of dying, the idea of dying, confronted with that reality and being completely terrified by it, versus being confronted by that reality and being completely enthralled, awe-inspired. What's the other word I'm looking for? Energized for this world. It gives you momentum. It's like, oh shit, I'm not dead yet. I get to keep moving. We have to keep moving. Opens, Knowing hurt opens the door to knowing healing, which is invaluable. Knowing hurt opens the doors to knowing healing, which is invaluable. Next to death. I agree. I agree because, and I'm going to be referencing a normal plant today. This plant got trimmed, got tough loved, if you will, and now during her healing process, because she got hurt during her healing process, that is going to be what is invaluable to her. So I agree completely, Mixed to Death. Thank you so much for joining us. If you had the personal message, PM, I don't know exactly, the journalist and the cops we have here in Greece, you would surely want to hurt them. If you had the prime minister, if you had, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't really think so, Ceres. I might think about it, but I don't really think I would want to. I don't want to. Nobody wants to hurt one another. We think about it because we get angry. It's not something we want to do. Kira Burr, thank you for joining us, my beloved friend. Respect, love, peace. Peace, love. God. I'm trying to find a message in your emojis. I'm just gonna take it as love. I appreciate you so much, Kira Burp. The small hurt to be better in the long run can be applied to so much more than just cutting plants. Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make, Melida. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying this whole point is just about the plants. I'm talking about it in context of us as human beings. I'm just taking the plant as a muse. Today, being so viscerally involved with it, I was thinking about it, and that's where today's message comes from. It was so lovely to see you in stream, dear friend. It's lovely to see you here, Kira Burp. Estian, hello, Edmund, Rina, Gab, in management, Annie, Lisa herself. It's been forever, my friend. How have you been? How's life been treating you? Waves, it's lovely to be here. Hello, Lisa. Love is the last 3D fractal. Love the last 3D fractal the best. Yes, me too, Ryan. I don't know if you actually got to click on it and zoom in on it a little bit, but that one is surreal. It's not as fractally, if you will, as the rest of them are. It's a little bit more smooth, but the textures on that smooth surface is very much fractal, and that is surreal. Very beautiful. Even Heather is joining us. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It's nice to have you. I realized after asking, this wasn't the final trim, but I still would like to know. I made some clones, my friend, and the trim usually gets turned into edibles, or gets put through sieves and they get turned into little kif powder, if you will, hash powder. I probably won't be able to stick around. I'm so tired, I can barely keep my eyes open. I wanted to share positivity. Nonetheless, Heather, thank you so much, my friend. If you're not here anymore, I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you get some more sleep. I'm going to be a pallbearer for my Uncle Joel today. Smoke up for him. A pallbearer. I know what a ring bearer is. I do not know what a pallbearer is. Pallbearer. Am I confused? I hope you have a good one, Crayon. I hope you have a good one, my friend. Thank you for joining us and for sharing the space. Many years, many meetings, many bad events that led to that. I woke him up though, and he's doing great and back with us. Okay. I'm very happy to hear that, Golden Trunks. I'm curious about your band now, dude. Mm. I thought that one slipped past me. No. I'm really curious. I'm fine, I'm feeling great, but it's been postponed to next week since my body again has its own needs. Okay, okay. Maybe that will be for the best. Thank you for letting me know, Melita. Maybe some more time to prepare. Sorry for your loss. Sending your family positive vibes. Oh, it's a pallbearer. If you carry someone's casket, I'm so sorry, Crayon. I'm so sorry for your loss, my friend. Christian, right? Right, Trickerita. Mojo! Thank you for joining us here again, my friend. I saw you this morning, but I didn't get to say hi. Hi, Mountain people. Hope all is well in your lives. I hope things are well with yours, Mojo. How are things with you, my friend? How has this new year been treating you? Good day to you, Aunt V. It's so nice to have you. I have a deck of affirmations, and my favorite is impermanence. I've kept it in my little Zen spot for the last year to remind me. Impermanence. Would impermanence be the tough love of this universe? If life is love, would death, I don't want to call it punishment, would death be tough love? Love you so much, I'm gonna squeeze you to death. That I love. I don't know. Good morning, sleepyhead, bruh. I'm feeling a little bit woozy, toasty, malosty, but I'm 3 coffees in. I drank 3 coffees before stream, literally back to back. You're like, how did you do that, Mel? I add 1 spoon of coffee, 2 spoon coffee, 3 spoon of coffee. So I feel adenosine is being replaced in my brain by little caffeine molecules. It's helping. It's helping a little bit. Beautiful area. Good morning from the US. Good morning to you, the cat lover. Thank you for joining us as well, my friend. Edmund. Stream is really smooth today. There we go. Maybe top of the morning. Uncle Becky is here as well. Maybe Ryan actually helped us manifest some good vibes. After Ryan sent a message yesterday suggesting that I upgrade or try a different phone for these streams, I had to let him know that I only have this one phone to stream with, and there's not too much that I can do about it. Now it's working smooth. So Ryan, thank you for your energy, brother bear. Thank you so much. Knocks on wood, I'm doing well today, brother. Knocks on wood. Where's some wood for me to knock on? More wood has been knocked. Top of the morning to you, Uncle Becky. Again, brother Bear. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing? I wanna have some chats with you, man. I tried to have some chats yesterday, but I felt it was a little bit. I didn't have enough information to work with, let's say. Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. Hey, War Hill. When did you know you wanted to be a woman? Nice joggers. I guess I knew I wanted to be a woman when I was one, but now I'm very okay with being myself. I don't have to identify myself as a gender. I don't have to identify myself as a sex. I don't have to identify myself as anything other than being. I am. I just am, friend. As you are. As you are. What follows I am follows you. I really appreciate you, friend, for taking some time to send thoughtful words. It really means so much. We love you, dude. Brandon, we love you to bits, man. Thank you. Thank you for sending loving words back, dude. Hi, Mel. Mammy is here as well. Hopefully, the stream today is a little bit smoother. Apparently, it already is. It's nice to have you here. We're spending quality time at the urgent care. Excuse me. Aunt B! Okay, thank goodness. For a second, a re came up in me, just like a little bit of. Like, you cannot tell me you're in urgent care and be like, okay, yes, now I'm gonna let this float. Let people trip the fuck out. Maybe both your legs are still on haywire hill or something. Don't say shit like that. Body aches, fever, yucky feeling hit us both last night. I hope it's not COVID. It might be COVID. Body aches, fever, and yucky feeling is exactly the symptoms I had when I had COVID as well. I hope you get better, Aunt B. I hope you get better, my friend. Did you have to go to urgent care for that? Are you feeling that bad? Where are you from? From South Africa. Thank you for joining and for asking. Creative course. How are you doing, friend? Greetings to all the lovely souls. It's been a while, but I love whenever we return to the stream. It's like we never left. I hope everyone's positive vibes outweigh their negatives. Mr. Smitties, Charles himself, Brother Bear. It's so nice having you here again. I hope you're doing well. And I agree. I agree. And I think it's this space that we open up every day has become, can I say this? So we're talking about impermanence. I feel there's a certain level of permanence with the space, not with where we are at the time of day, but the space. As soon as we get into this space, there is a level of permanence, like there's something that continues even if we're not here, and it's surreal. So I agree, Charles. Thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you? Well, I hope a fire answer. Does he know you? Oh no, hope you feel better soon. Hello, Charles. Mel. Just so much love for you. Mel, do you see a red trash can next to any comments? No, I don't see any red trash cans next to comments. I, I think I would be able to on the computer, but on the mobile it doesn't show me. Is somebody sending spicy comments and you're deleting them? Thank you, brother Bear. If that's the case, really bad fever going around. Like when I had fever and I got tested as well, so I knew I had COVID. It was like a, as you're saying, like body ache. Like I literally felt like my body was pulled through a thin hole, you know, and I spaghettified, and then I had to reassemble myself on the other side, and everything was sensitive and tender. Didn't want to touch anything. Was hot and cold at the same time, sweating while feeling icy cold. That was my symptoms, but it passed within a week for me at least. I hope it passes even faster for you. This movie is called The Biggest Little Farm, comes to mind for this inquiry. In this experiment, intervention was counterproductive, while letting nature balance itself led to the best results. This movie, called The Biggest Little Farm, comes to mind for this inquiry. In this experiment, intervention was counterproductive, while letting nature balance itself led to the best results. Biggest Little Farm. Like, I'm very curious about that now, Ryan. That's fascinating. I'm doing quite well today. How are you? How is school? How's the family and such? I'm curious as well, Mammy. How are the kids doing? Anyone with the mod rights on the sub can see everything, even the deleted comments. I noticed that one on Erica's stream. Is Melt a mod on Haywire Hill? I don't think I am. Mammy. I don't think I am. I've wanted banhammer privileges, but maybe I would be. I want to make some sort of Thor joke, but I'm losing it. Maybe I will burst into lightning, fly back to Asgard as soon as I get banhammer privileges. I try. Sending healing vibes to Haywire Hill, absolutely. Thank you so much, Toasty. You've cultivated quite a loving community here, Mel. Oh, dude, I don't think I've cultivated anything. If anything, we're growing together, like If I cultivated this space, I would have to add, been cultivating your entire lives since you were like little babies. But no, we happen to be these big, beautiful trees already, and we're just entangling our roots. I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but we're becoming aware of one another, and trees do that. They become aware of one another. And because we're now aware of one another, we can support each other in our growth. When there's heavy winds, standing together as these trees will help us be stronger than we would be if we were solo tree in the middle of an empty field. And that's the mindset that we're going to. Thank you, Golden Trunks, for your encouragement and love, my friend. With your growing this thing that we have here together just as much as I am. I'm glad to hear you're having a good day today. I'm keeping well, very busy, but I love coming to our fan this time of day. We love having you here, Mammy. Thank you so much. No, but I really want him to have them just in case. Yes, yes. I also, he has, and you should definitely pull up a chair and hang out with us. Oh, Golden Trunks has been here a long time, a long, long time, Mammy. Just not as much. Thank you for joining us again, my friend. Love you, Uncle Becky. Hurting ourselves can be beneficial. Hurting others cannot be. Okay, Pitch. I don't want to encourage you to hurt yourself or to hurt others. Today's topic, today's intention, the message we want to share here today came from a feeling I had while trimming a plant. So these plants grow little bottom branches, and these bottom branches don't see the light of day. And on top of that, when they start producing flowers, will fall into the ground and then literally succumb to mold and bugs and whatever, mud even. And even though it might be very uncomfortable to the plant for me to be snipping branches off of her, it is me trying to share love with her, because if I don't do that, she's going to get hurt later down the line. And I was thinking about this in context of human beings, of other people, and how things we do for one another can have the benefit of helping, can have the benefit of helping us grow more in the right direction. But it can also be painful in the moment. So I don't want you to hurt anybody. We're trying to think about this feeling, and where we're supposed to draw the line with it as well, because we can hurt one another more than we mean to sometimes. Sorry for missing the YouTube messages, friends. Perhaps sometime you could snap some pics of those mountains in the morning or evening, and I could use those photos as a basis for a painting. I would love to do that, friend. I would really love to do that. If I see a scene where the clouds are beautiful and the light is catching the mountains right, I would be more than willing to, actually. It is a very difficult as a parent to know when you are pruning and when you are forcing things to grow in the way you want them to. Ooh, it's a balance between nurturing and their natural traits. What a good point that is to bring in, Jenny. What a good point that is. Because what I'm doing right now is pruning, right? I am removing things that don't serve the whole. But if I was adding wires and then trying to bend this branch in this direction and trying to bend that branch in this direction, then I'm forcing. And that forcing nature can be seen as more, I want to say invasive, because where a pruning is I want to say an addressing of, a cutting away of, and then a moving on from. Where trying to bend something, coerce something in a direction, is a constant tension that you have to apply on that topic, on that feeling, on that behavior. Maybe that's a good way to be mindful. If you feel like you're constantly forcing, constantly trying to push something in a direction, maybe that's when we're no longer pruning and we're, in your words, forcing things to grow in the way we want. Beautiful point, Jenny. Beautiful, beautiful point. And I try to help cope with troublesome thoughts and habits. You don't give yourself enough credit. If you didn't cultivate the safe soil of acceptance and kindness, then we might not have known you're growing, because Haywire Hill is cultivating too. You're a beautiful light. You're a bright light. Jenny, I believe we all are. And it's not that I don't give myself enough credit. I just want to give you credit because I feel I've been gifted. I feel I've been so blessed in this life that I cannot accept anymore. And it's so difficult for me to ask for help. It's so difficult for me to, I don't know, put my pride down and be willing to accept a compliment, accept help from someone. And I am working on that, but know that there's a reason for it. I'm just like, no, you take the love. I have enough love. And then love again. I'm like, no, you, no, you take the love. I just love you, Jenny, so much. Just stopping to wish everyone a magical day. Hope you friends. I love you, friends. Love you, Melt. And I see you on the flip side. Thank you for joining us, Mariah, for even a second. I appreciate your presence, my friend. I hope the boys are doing well. Roland, Clyde, and Vesson. Yeah, yeah, go. Hey, we have Easier here as well. Mommy's pretty boy. Cheers to you, friend. Thank you for joining us, man. How are you doing? Last day, right? You're done. You're done. I think so, at least, right? You're done. I'm juggling school, work, mammy life. It's tough, but the rewards and benefits are good. I'm learning new things every day. That's the only thing we can hope for, mammy. To learn, to grow, to gain experience. Mm. Quite literally, to gain experience as a soul, to add experience layers to your beingness. Yes, sir. Cheers to you. No, you, Jenny. No, you. Stop. No, you. So much love to you, my friend. Oh, the biggest little farm. Everything's great. I'm so happy to hear that, man. Happy day to you. Indeed, Mariah. I don't know if she's still here, but so much love. The biggest little farm gave me a lot of inspiration to do what we're doing at Haywire Hill. To me, it's the most rewarding to witness nature happening as it should. Just give a little nudge in one direction or another. Like Uncle Becky, I don't know if you would approve this, maybe not. But the last time, that I was thinking about coming over to Haywire Hill, I had this vision. I was just planting a bunch of trees in this like circular kind of pattern with the intention of creating like a little sacred shamanic space that is encapsulated in these trees. What do you think about that, Brother Bear? Nudging in the right direction, if you will. That's a good question, Mel. I think of the teacher. Do they intentionally hurt their students? No, they develop their students. Sometimes self-development can be perceived as hurt in the moment. It's all about the true love behind the intent. It comes back to intention. Maybe that's what the lesson we should take away. I think you're right, Toasty. It's not so much about where we should draw the line with tough love, but with what intention we share that tough love. Are we trying to share that tough love because we are in a position to? And I'm saying that very specifically like that because sometimes we do. We're like, we find ourselves in a position, the high ground, if you will, and then we're like, I have the high ground. We do that, right? But if we have the intention of actually helping a person, actually loving a person, actually reaching out to someone with the hopes that they might see you reaching out and might take your hand, might feel better as a result of this thing that you're sharing with them. That's the right way to do it. Thank you. Thursday, legitimately, it feels to my mind now like this, I want to say turmoil, this evolving fractal has consolidated into a stable state. Intention is what's important in that. Completely. I wish I had something wholesome and positive to share, lol. I feel like I'm leeching off of y'all's energy. Ezio, you cannot. Oh, it's impossible for you to leech off of anything because we are infinite beings, dude. Limitless. Ceaseless creators, dude. You cannot leech. If you try to like suck up everything we have, you would just you would just explode. Because you already are that. You already have the same amount of infinity. We're just experiencing it together, man. Don't worry at all. You will return once you have soaked up enough to share. Like he's here. You're here right now in this moment, dude, and that's what's important. You don't have to share anything significant. You as person, you as presence is more significant than I could, ever hope for. Genuinely, dude. So, in this metaphor, trimming ourselves back is beneficial in our growth. The same message can be said for ourselves. I agree completely, okay, Pitch. I'm not saying, no, you're wrong, okay, Pitch. I'm just sharing where that message came from so you can be informed because we shared at the start of the stream and I'm guessing you weren't here for the start of the stream. Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Jenny. You got this, dude. Easy. Yeah, you freaking got this, man. Are tags case sensitive? I think they might be. They might be. Yes, there we go. Yes, yes, yes. I think they might be. Hi, friends. Jovan is here as well. Edward. Oh, Jovan. The gang's all here. All the burbs. What the fuck do I. What the fuck? How do I cost out of this? How do I cost out of this? Cast out of this? That's a weird word to use. How do I cost out of this? Okay, so if you want to cost out of here, I want you to give 10% of your wealth to someone else. If you can. 10% of your expendable wealth to someone else. I was thinking about that in the shower today. The church was like, how are we going to get money from people? And they were like, you know what? Let's just take 10% of all of their shit. Okay, that's brutal. Every month. And people were like, yeah, okay, okay, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now you have these evangelical, TV Christians that are flying private planes. Why? Why do you need a private plane? Like I've never even flown in like business class seats. The only times I've flown was like in economy class. And it was still a vibe. I still had a good time. I had a seat to sit on. I was in a tube. This tube had wings. And I was flying through the air, sitting in this seat inside of this tube. Like what more do you you understand what's happening right now? So freaking surreal, it's so surreal. No, 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 I want my own tube. Nobody else must be in the tube with me. I'm not going to breathe the air of these demons. The people that fly in economy class are demons. Oh goodness, it kills me. Hey there, Jovan. I'm aware of just how much of a high quality human she is. Jovan is top class, right, top of the shelf. I have to stand on your tippy toes to reach it. Look, here's another one. So many, like an infinite amount of love coming from this space, coming from you, friends. Uncle Becky reminds me. Charles, thank you for the helpful serval, silver journalist. I appreciate you, friend. Mammy, it's true, it's true. No, you, Uncle Becky. Love all of you friends so much. You're powerful beings. You brighten all of these days. Speaking of high quality, look at this dude. Your friends are melting me right now. I'm just like dripping. Absolutely dripping. To growing, friends. To shaping that growth. To encouraging that growth. Mm. This is such a nice and skinny joint. It's so cute. And it's smoking so well. It feels like I'm smoking nothing at all. Curing your bud. I've been thinking about, my ability to grow things. And how I just wish that that was what I could do for a living, that I could live growing things. And technically that's what a farmer is. But here in South Africa, it is brutal to try and make a living as a farmer. We tried. We tried and we're still in debt because of it. Yeah. Farming is not a joke, yo. It really is not fun. But certain things can be. Farming produce, I don't think is that fun, but growing something like marijuana is so fun to me, but it's also, I don't know if I do more work than I'm supposed to, maybe, but it's so much work. It is so much work. A single plant could eat 6 hours per day, easy peasy, easy peasy peasy. Especially if you're trying to be a vigilante. Like at one point, there was a bunch of worms on our farm, and for some reason, they have this really irritating knack. They don't even eat the entire bud. You know, if they started topside and ate an entire bud into completion, I would be more okay with that. But they don't do that. What they do is where the bud connects to the stem, you know, where all of that information is flowing through, that's where they eat. So they eat that little stem connection to the rest of the bud off. And then this bud, no longer being severed from the rest of the stem, still sits there in the rest of the cola and then gets old, gets moldy, and then that mold spreads to the rest of the cola. So you have to be actively investigating your plants, making sure there's no moldy buds forming on it, making sure there's no worms on it, and it's so much work, and yet it is so rewarding. It's so beautiful. It's such an experience working with these plants. It genuinely is great. What a blessed stream. So many friends, so much love. It's so wonderful. I feel giddy. I genuinely feel giddy, Kira. I was just listening to a really good podcast about how to identify negative feelings and how to deal with them. So insightful. I love having stuff like that. You listen to something and it feels like this part of your life makes more sense, opens up, and that feeling is what I'm chasing. I mean, every single day. That feeling of that. You know, when you've had it, you know what I'm talking about. I love that feeling. That feeling is the best thing ever. And the only way you can have that feeling is by one, being fascinated, two, being interested, and three, seeing beauty. If you don't allow yourself those things, it's very difficult to be awe-inspired. Mm-hmm. So insightful. Anybody here? Anybody here? All the love. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, we're here. Maybe the comments aren't showing for you, Ryan. If you refresh the stream, maybe it will show, dude. I avoid negative feelings too often, and it's not good. It's not good to leave them unattended. Hmm. Leaving negative feelings unattended. Would you be willing to share more about that? I'm really curious, Mammy. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Giovanna's also curious. Ryan, it's so insane, all the synchronicities. The fact that we grew up like 2 miles from each other. 2 miles. That's like I can throw a rock that far. Not really. But that's crazy, dude. That really is crazy. What a beautiful idea. Planting those trees. Where the trees have been planted, friends. I believe, and we've had this conversation as well, this Ramdas way of seeing people, as seeing people like trees. I have implemented that very much in my life. Seeing people for the beauty of them, and I had this conversation with Christian last night as well, where he was talking about how he feels unworthy of the amount of love that I'm always, relentlessly willing to give him, and that he feels like he's not capable of doing the same always for me, and na. And like Christian, Christian. So I'm just imagining him with like a skull in his hand, with outfit. Oh, to be or not to be. I'm not worthy. What. And then after he finishes his lament, if you will, I just basically tell him, dude, if me and you are having a conversation with one another, sometimes I miss completely what you're saying. Not because I'm not listening, but because I'm so infatuated. I'm so in love just with watching you be, just with watching the way you move, the way you look at things, the pauses you take in between saying things, the things you would do in those pauses, the way you use those pauses, just the way you are has been such an inspiration in my life, has been such a beautiful indication as to what a person could be. You're enough. You're doing more than enough. You're worthy of all of the love. And it sometimes feels like we have to remind ourselves, we have to be reminded of those facts. And having friends that will remind us of those facts are infinitely valuable. New friends. Love is true. Love is freaking true. To deal with the negatives, to acknowledge what I feel, even if it's bad, is good. We take back the power by acknowledging all of our feelings. Have I felt negative as of late? I don't think so. I don't think I felt negative once this year. Weirdly enough, we've had so much momentum and so much positive energy in these streams this year that I was intimidated slash concerned. You know, I was like, oh goodness, I am way too happy right now. The universe is gonna smack my ass down. And it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't just happened yet. We're trying to be aware. I'm trying to be as grateful. I'm more grateful now than I've ever been. I'm more confident now than I've ever been. And it's like this weird fuck yeah, it's happening. It's things are happening. It's going. And then I'm like, wait a second. Don't you dare get ego involved here. And then I'm like, yeah, you're right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then it's that loop all over and over and over. Oh goodness. I'll link to the podcast. Please do, Mammy. Thank you so much. I have a spot picked out for an orchard. I definitely want more trees. There we go. I'm happy to hear that, Uncle Becky. I think it will be so blessed, man. I know, Toasty. It tells me that this group is true magic. Love is true, dude. Love is true. To have an entire group of human beings, of souls, that are now showing up in this physical space for an idea. Is it an idea? Is it a statement? Is it a belief? And instead of believing in this conceptualized deity, and if your conceptualized deity doesn't match my conceptualized deity, now we're separate. I don't know if there are many people who would feel they can separate themselves from that fact, that statement. You know, love is true. And even if they were to tell me that, oh, I've never experienced love in my entire life, I'd be like, do you enjoy eating food? Do you enjoy listening to music? Do you enjoy when a puppy runs up to you and wants to have pets? Oh, yeah, of course I like those things. Love is true. Cannot escape. Love is true. Love is magic, and we share it here. That we do. Thank you so much for sharing your magic with us as well, Jenny. Tell it's true magic. Thank you. Happiness Lab, New Year mini session, how to identify your negative emotions. I believe that's the podcast tag. Thank you so much, Mammy. Because you wouldn't want a man of God flying with demons with you now, you heathen. Toasty knows exactly what I'm talking about. Toasty, I was saying it as well. Yes, 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 yes. I was so happy that you mentioned that fact before I got to say it. Yeah. What, Kenneth Copeland or something like that? I don't even know what his name is. I don't really care too much, but you know, Toasty. It's so hilarious, man. Yeah, this man of God shouldn't be flying with demons. You know, if I was, you know, an Orthodox Christian, if I was into believing into this dude, I'd be like, but my dude, you're this super Christian, aren't you? God gives you power. Whatever. Why not ride with the demons? Why not fly with the demons? Why not undemonize them or whatever? You know, why? Why not, dude? I thought you were this powerful being, you know? I thought you had this extremely powerful being on your side. And these demons are but fractions of the power that you hold, right? No. No. I need private jet. I'm so happy you friends are laughing as well. Maybe this is something similar between a tea break and trimming the plant bark. You might be right, Ryan. You know, and I'm thinking about that. And this is the first joint I'm smoking today. I'm trying to smoke joints only during these streams again today. And it did help that I only woke up at like 10 this morning because I only went to bed at like 5 a.m. And I went directly outwards to go and trim my plant while I had sunlight. made some clones. Maybe, maybe, Ryan. Maybe I've already started. I'm already trying to trim a little bit. And weirdly enough, in this scenario, I start trimming from the bottom up. And I'm doing that with my THC use as well. I'm starting by trimming the mornings slash early afternoon and trimming that out of my use pattern and then only allowing the top of my day to flourish. Am I trying too hard? Maybe a little bit. I think my biggest problem with Christianity is not so much that they have twisted it into a business, but that they have tried to make it exclusive. You can't be exclusive without excluding souls. Yeah. Not only is it that, but that exclusivity for some reason gives people this agency to judge others, to hate others, to separate themselves even more from others. The I am this and you are that. Oh, I am a Christian, you are a heathen. And for that reason, we are no longer compatible in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to be able to listen to what you have to say. I'm not going to be able to have an adult conversation with you. I'm not going to be able to discuss the weather with you because this fundamental difference is separating us too far from each other when we cannot be separated. It's an illusion. That's my biggest thing with Christianity. Like I'm okay with the principles. I believe it has values and it has good stories to teach these values. But the fundamental problem I have with Christianity is the God that they portray. Because the God they portray is one, a dominator, two, they actively call him jealous. Actively. He's a jealous God. Oh, gives me the heebie jeebies. And three, he's something separate from you. This God is something all the way out there. And then to create even more layers of separation, there is also this Jesus entity that now comes in. And the only way for you to reach this jealous God is through this Jesus entity. And that's the only way for you to now be a Christian. It's separation. That's the only thing I see when I think of Christianity is just all of these beautiful messages and understandings of these messages, but then a separation from the fundamental place where those messages come from. And if Jesus was a real dude, he was just super switched on. His message was also, one of his biggest messages was that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Within you. Not within me as Jesus, not within God, within you. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Why would he say that, yo? And I've asked my dad that question so many times, and he's like, because through you, you have to accept him to get to the kingdom that's in yourself. I'm like, so separation? No, it's not separation. It's respect. It's love for this God. I'm like, you're messing me a little bit. Team 366. Like, Uncle Becky, I don't know. I remember you mentioning something about 366 on the day that we streamed, but is that a significant number to you in your life? Melt, have you tried neem oil through vegetation? I haven't. I've heard good things about neem oil, but I haven't. Even during flowering, if you're careful, neem oil can be very beneficial. Apparently it helps for worms, right? It's like a natural plant-based worm repellent. Maybe I should get myself some of that. I've been using turmeric. That's what I've been using. I've been throwing turmeric around my main stems, and that helps as well. Mel, the image on your Patreon are gorgeous. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jovan. I'm ecstatic with how they turned out. And it makes me so happy that I figured that software out. Genuinely, at first I was frustrated, because I was spending so much time creating, finding these beautiful fractals, getting into this fractal, finding a composition that I feel comfortable with, that I want to share, rendering this entire fractal, trying to export this fractal, and then getting a 370 kilobyte file. If you try and zoom once, it's like this pixelated jumble of a mess. And I was getting angry. I was like, spending all this time trying to, add this composition to this fractal, and I can't actually see it properly. And then I got better and better and better, and I learned how to transfer parameters from one scene to another, and then that scene's parameters had a rendering resolution, and then that rendering resolution had to be pulled into my Windows nodes, and then those Windows nodes could render this entire fractal little block per block instead of having to render the entire fractal, inevitably spreading that load over my CPU a little bit more efficiently. And as I'm like learning the software, I'm realizing what's happening, and the software is realizing what's happening, and it's just wonderful. Now I get these 35 megabyte files. The last piece I posted is a 35 megabyte file, and you can get into that. Like, you can actually fall into that fractal. Thank you, Jovan. Thank you so much for the love. Blushing in the sky. Our beloved Fred hugs to melt and chat. All the good love. I actually went to your chat today. You sent a message like, "We love you, Melt," or something like that, and I sent back that I love you as well. I saw that message again today. Thank you. Blushing in the sky. I love you so much, my friend. Thank you for sharing the space. Hello, South Africa from South Central Kansas. Happy Friday, melters everywhere. Happy Friday to you. Not Bethel. Thank you for joining us, man. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How's your Friday looking so far? Are you planning anything for the rest of this Friday, friends? Are you gonna go somewhere this weekend? If you have any good vibes left to share, do send them to Haywire Hill. Our aunt and uncle B might be coming down with the COVID, so do send them some love, please. It is purely separation. The people who go to heaven are literally called the elect. The elect. You know what the weirdest part is? And that's the joke. That to me is the biggest joke, Toasty. Is this heaven that we're going to, right? And it paints this world, and my dad says it so much. Ons lewe in 'n gebroke wêreld, my seun. We live in a broken world, my boy. And I'm like, no. This is broken. This is broken? Are you fucking kidding me? This is broken. This experience is broken. No. I cannot believe that. And that is one of the Christian belief systems as well, is that this world is steeped in sin. You are steeped in sin. This is just suffering. And if you're a good enough boy throughout all of this suffering, then finally you'll be able to experience this heaven. But only if you follow these set of rules. But these set of rules are so arbitrary that even if I literally am a murderer my entire life, I just shoot people in the street as I walk down it, that they look at me funny. And then by the time I die, I'm like, okay, say my little line, I accept this and I accept that, na 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 na, and then, oh, now I'm saved. That's how the rules are supposed to work. Then you become one of these elect. This is heaven. We're already in heaven. These separation systems, as soon as you do this and that, then you're going to be happy. It has never worked. It has never worked, and it's selling hope to people who need it the most. And it really makes me angry. Stepping into the clinic. I love y'all very much. Melt, I'll be in touch today. I'm looking forward to it. Uncle Becky, thank you so much, brother. I hope it goes well. I don't know if you can get even medicine for it, but I hope you get better soon, man. Good luck. You and Aunt B. Thank you, Edmund, for sharing love. Man, I was watching you about 30 minutes ago when you lighted the cigar, and you still are smoking. It must be good. It is very good, one. And I also don't like smoking excessively when it comes to these streams, because there's a threshold, like we take a puff, the puff does what it's supposed to do, and then I stop smoking for as long as I feel comfortable with it. And then if it is time to, then I light up again. And we rinse and repeat that cycle. Joints do last long on these streams. I feel it also, I feel I value these streams in that context as well. Because if I'm smoking a joint by myself, I'll smoke it in maybe 10 minutes, as opposed to an hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours. Oh, did I make myself bleed again? Hopefully not. And that's okay. So the way I'm thinking about this, the reason I'm tripping out about this a little bit, is because cannabis can help you articulate, but only to a certain point. I believe it makes what's already there a little bit more available in the way where it downregulates certain set patterns. So downregulates certain set patterns and then upregulates maybe some chaos, if you will. And then from that chaotic state, from that state of more information, you can share information. But if you have too much of that chaos, too much of that disconnection, then it becomes again difficult to properly articulate and communicate what you're trying to say. And these streams have made me so aware of that I appreciate smoking weed even more because of it. I can see in my own beingness how that is influenced. And then if we don't smoke, like we maybe will, soonish, then there's this whole other experience attached to it as well, where I want to say induce those things myself. Now that I'm talking about inducing things, it's making me think of something we're saying. I wanted to say something we're saying in the start of today's stream, but it wasn't time, I guess. Lesson 14. Take time to return to the truth. So simple. Take time to return to the truth. What's the truth, man? Love is true. Take time to return to love. And the next thing, I'll read the next 4. The next one is love requires no effort. You just have to allow it to flow from the depth of your being and let it shine through you. There is absolutely nothing that can separate you from God. You can love the world. I can love the world. I do not need a stimulus to elicit a loving response. Yes, see. That one actually is giving me goosebumps. That one is the one that has really resonated this year with me as well. I can love the world. I do not need a stimulus to elicit a loving response. I can love the world. I do not need a stimulus to elicit a loving response. I can love my animals. I can love my plants. I can love my family. I can love the world without needing a stimulus to elicit a loving response. What a surreal thing that is to say. Because a lot of the reason, usually the reason we have loving responses is because of a stimulus. We see a person being cute or doing something or just being themselves, and that stimulates us. And then we're like, I'm going to tell this person I love them. But even if you don't have that, in this moment, you can tell someone you love them, in the exact same way. So out in this world, I'm thinking about Gob. That's the person that came up to my mind right now. Gob Nugget is out there in the world living his life, doing his thing, experiencing the infinity. And I'm sending him love. I'm sending him love for the sake of sending him love. I don't know if he's going to receive it. Maybe now he's going to feel it. I'm sending him freaking so much love. And we don't need a response. We don't need a response for that love, and we don't need a stimulus to encourage, to kickstart that love either. We are that. It comes from us. We just allow it to flow through us. It's a trip. It really is a trip. If you Google the elect, the first 100 results you get I thought it was just an obscure sect of Christianity I was raised in. Huh. I didn't know. It's like a faction of Christianity? The elect. I didn't know that at all, actually, Toasty. I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked since I got the okay. You're. I was like, wait a second. Aren't you then still smoking? I thought you were like saying you're not smoking weed anymore. Yeah. If you have a volcano, you have had your volcano for 7 years. That's impressive in itself. But I agree. If you have the volcano, then vaporizing your butt is definitely going to be better. The flying alligator. If you're not familiar already, this is our brother Ben Meltmore. I'm so happy of the comfort and well-being you found on r/Haywire Hill. I don't think I've met the flying alligator just yet, and just as I'm talking about him, he's here. Thank you for joining us, friend. I don't know you yet, but I do look forward to getting to. Love you. Thank you for sharing the space with us. That's true love. Egoless love. Egoless love. Toast. Loving without needing a stimulus. Whew. And it's difficult, because we can say those words, but a lot of the things that we love usually come from a stimulus. Usually comes from our eyes, we love to hear music, we love to taste good food, we love to smell beautiful flowers, we love to feel soft textures, if you will. These stimuli, that cause us to prompt this love. Oh, I love this thing. But the fact that we can do that without those stimuli is kind of surreal. It's kind of surreal, and it's not the way we love usually. I feel it's the last way we love, if anything. Thank you, friends, for joining me. Are you wearing the magic trousers? The way of the genticle. I am, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Yes, it's been months. It's been months since I've seen you. How have you been? How has these months been? How has New Year's been for you, my friend? How is this New Year been for you? Hey there, welcome. I have to turn off my phone, but these are the loveliest people on the earth. Uncle Becky, you shared space with us, Brother Bear. Thank you. You'll be in good hands. Yes, you will. Make some space. Alligator, come sit here next to me. Love without hate can't exist, and hate is an expression of love. I wouldn't disagree with that, Ceres. I don't think the opposite of love is hate. The opposite of love is indifference, not hate. Hate is very much passionate, very involved. You're thinking about a person. Same way that love can be. The opposite of love is indifference. To not think about that person, to not want anything to do with that person, to not care what that person has to say, to not care what that person is up to not care. That is the opposite of love. So I agree, dude. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, the volcano got a 10-foot cord and personality. Walk, talk, smile, charm, love, and a great big heart. Am I tripping out, Baffle Maker? If yeah, the volcano has a 10-foot cord. So I'm guessing you don't use the little balloons, you use the cord straight from it to inhale. But I don't get the rest of what you're saying. Personality. Maybe it has googly eyes or like little googly eyes on it. But the walk, talk, smile, charm, love, and great big heart. Now this volcano is taking on a whole other level of anthropomorphizing. The opposite of love is fear. I don't think so either, my friend. I think fear is the separation from love. So you could say it could be seen as the opposite of, but we are in fear of indifference, you know? That is what we're scared of. We're not scared of being scared. We're not scared of this, especially when it comes to existential dread. It's not scared of something that we're scared of nothing, technically. We're scared of that indifference. We're scared of that complete separation from love, from what God is, from what this experience is. And that causes us to be anxious because we're imagining separation to the point where we can convince ourselves of it. And we can be scared of that imagination as well. But I feel it's a symptom of, it's one of the illusions that we are participating in, the flying alligator. How do you feel about it, my friend? How has fear influenced your life? The opposite of love is a lack thereof. There we go. Yeah, indifference, just complete indifference. For your information, the flying alligator was going to quit all social media, but couldn't fathom not having access to Haywire Hill. I cried because that means that we are doing the right thing. This is the way. Uncle Becky, and it's difficult to say that. It's difficult to believe that and not feel like you're being pompous or self-involved. But I honestly believe that the space we share, the content we share, has in Afrikaans ewigheidswaarde, forever value. These things that we have of one another in these moments are things that we can carry with us in our hearts, in our minds, in our very beings for as long as we continue to live. One of the things that I've now consolidated in my mind, and Toasty was definitely a help in that, is if I never see you again, and this goes for you as well, the flying alligator, if I never ever see you again, go and be kind. That's all I can hope. That's all I can ask for, is go and be kind. And that's the energy we're trying to bring here. And I guess there are other content. There is definitely other content that has that intention. But never have I seen it so interactive. Usually it's something being said at you. It's not something you're talking along with. And I appreciate you, friend, so much for being a part of this beautiful song. I had to rhyme it. I couldn't resist. The opposite of love is a lack thereof. I like that, actually. I didn't think about it or see it that way. Thank you for reminding me, Siobhan. The hose is about 5 feet. Those are the lyrics from the Personality song. Oh, Thuffle Maker, you're just confusing me a little bit more. Over my head. I don't know if it's because I'm sleep deprived. The opposite of love is apathy. No, apathy. Apathy cannot occur without indifference, right? At least that's the way I think about it. I feel there has to be indifference first before apathy can occur. You're talking about entropy. Entropy. Entropy technically creates the possibility for things to be complex. At least I think so. At some point, it allows things to be complex. And that's why we are. Where are you, my friend? I'm in Greece and it's freezing. And you're standing outside, sitting outside of a t-shirt. Dude, I'm sitting outside sweating right now in a t-shirt. I'm in South Africa. It rained today, but it's still pretty hot. It's like 30 degrees Celsius or so right now. Man, so much love, the flying alligator. It's nice having you here, brother bear. The word media gives me a nasty taste in my mouth. I know it all means mass communication, though I feel like I've been conditioned to hear carefully aggregated and cultivated propaganda. They call it programming for a reason. Right, Toasty? Programming us. Programming us. With social norms, with expectations, of interpretations of success, of reasons to be afraid. And if you're afraid, someone to trust. And if I'm the one telling you to be afraid of something, then I'm the one you should trust. And that's what the media does. Makes you afraid of something, and then it boosts their numbers because people now have to trust them as their source of information. They come back and over and over and over again. Media. Oh, I want to make a show, Toasty, and it is gonna be media, bro. But I want it to be good. I want it to be something that is worthy of time. There's a movie like that called Dave Made a Maze. Dave Made a Maze, and it's this movie about a dude, an intelligent person, like every single one of us, who has had these creative ideas his entire life, but because of life and him having to get a normal job, he's never been able to fully realize these things. And then he starts to build a maze in his kitchen out of cardboard boxes. And from the outside, this cardboard box maze is the size of, let's say, the size of a car. It's a little bit smaller than that, but let's say the size of a car. Then when you enter this little box, it opens up into a massive space. And you can go deeper and deeper into this massive space. And because it's all made of cardboard, the entire movie is made of cardboard. It cuts through these environments, moving them into different rooms, moving them into different scenes through a maze. And this maze is Dave's mind. And these friends are friends that are a part of his life, that go through the existence of life as he is trying to sort this maze out himself as well. And by being friends with one another, we pull each other into our mazes. We pull each other into each other's mazes, and it's both beautiful, but it's also infinitely complexing. It's a beautiful movie. Beautiful, beautiful movie. Fantastic movie. And it box office, if you will, for I think 23,000 rand. No, $23,000. Yes. $23,000. This, in my opinion, best movie I've ever seen in my life. And it's intimidating, Toast. It's intimidating to try and create something that is true, that is honest, that is our soul's expression, and then feeling like the world is not going to appreciate that. Feeling like the world isn't going to see it for what it's supposed to be. And it's painful sometimes. It's very painful sometimes. Do you know Joe? Joe Matt! Lord got him. There you go, Rebecca. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't feel like Reddit is social media. Different kind of community altogether. Reddit isn't social media in the same way that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter is social. Maybe Twitter is a little bit more on the Reddit side than the other twos will be, but Facebook and Instagram are these catering, live catering platforms. Like, oh, this is my life. I'm taking a photo, and I tell you, this is my life, whatever my life is right now, and then I'm gonna post it. And then you can be like this, or you can be like something, 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 and then that's the extent of the exchange. Now we have with Reddit these entire communities based on things that we can resonate with, that can love as individuals, and each and every single one of these posts are being interacted with by thousands of different individuals, and there are these different areas, and there's a pretty easy way for you to skip through comments. The top comments are the parts of mind that come up over and over again, and then you will find a part of your mind coming up and seeing a post. You can go into that post and you can find that part of mind, or you can share that part of mind, and there might be people that will resonate with that part of mind, and they will add to your comment thread, or you can add to someone else's comment thread who have resonated with your mind before as well. And it's this informative platform of like, this is how other people think, these are how other people see the world. There are people that see the world in the same way that I do as well, and I can choose if I want to be with them, around them, or not. And there's no other platform that does it as well as Reddit can. Mm, I don't want to watch the news because I don't like being afraid of the world. I prefer to look at beauty. Sometimes I wonder if it's irresponsible, burying my head in the optimistic sand, so to speak. Jenny, my head. If you're scared of burying your head in the optimistic sand, I'm like waist deep, dude. Like just legs dangling out of the ground. Don't consume media, especially not news, because it's always going to be there's always bad shit happening in the world, and they don't profit from sharing the good shit, if you will, that's happening in the world. So try and find it for yourself. Don't go to the people who are gonna specifically cater to bad shit, because you're gonna find bad shit. I feel like Facebook is ego driven and Reddit is more topic driven. I agree completely with that. Beautiful point, Jenny. Beautiful, beautiful point. It's a collective experience of something instead of a this is me. This is me. We can experience things together. I agree completely. There's little reward for that cloud chasing. Yeah, there's none actually. I don't think Reddit encourages stuff like that. There isn't really a viral. I mean, yeah, technically one of your posts can go front page, but we don't have things going viral like they do on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. People are more level-headed on Reddit, at least in my opinion. No way, just looked it up. I saw the Dave actor at a comedy club. What? What are the odds? Jovan, you have to, please. Like, I know I don't say this a lot, but this is something I want to insist upon. You have to watch this movie, please. Like, if you can, eat like a gram of mushrooms as well while watching it. That has even more significance. It's a beautiful movie. It's so well made. It's so heartfelt. It's so aware. It feels like that movie is watching you while you're watching it. I'd highly recommend it. This movie looks amazing. Toast, please, brother, please, 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 friends. If I can recommend anything, I don't tell you friends what to do ever, but I want to take a stand and be like, watch this movie. I'm telling you, watch this movie. I got 4 kids and I'm coffee driven. Thank you for joining us, Candace. Yeah, I'm coffee driven right now as well. I took, I took, I took three spoons of coffee, so I'm definitely caffeinated. What's the movie? Dave made a maze. Dave made a maze. Dave made a maze. Dave made a maze. Please, friends. This movie is something else. I'm new here. Can you explain to me who you are and why South Africa? The flying alligator. I am Melkmore. At least that's the name I've chosen for myself. My civilian name, the name my parents call me, is Estian. My birth certificate name is Christian Stefan. And I've been born here in South Africa, so didn't really choose. Kind of spawned here, so I guess I have to try and utilize the resources around me. And the Melkmore name is basically a mantra to me. You can think of it in the context of I want to do more, see more, feel more, experience more, learn more, share more, give more, love more, melt more. It can be seen in that way. I use it as a mantra in melt more, melt more. It's both sides of the infinity. Me as melt, you as more, and together we become melt more in this space. And then fundamentally, finally, if you will, melt more means to me a melting into this experience that we're a part of. And a melting into that is like the melting together of your senses. To be here so viscerally, so fully, that you lose the ability to distinguish, where hearing starts and seeing ends. And you're like, melt, you have to take extreme amounts of psychedelics to do that. Not necessarily. That experience of being so completely entrenched, covered by, melting into this existence. That's what we do here, my friend. And we show up every single day with this intention that love is true. That's who I am. It's nice to meet you, the flying alligator. You want to give me a little bit of 1-2 of yours as well? Waarin is zo blij jij? Ik blij in Limpopo. Tenminste, hulle sê vir my so. It's a mooi plekje die dude. Waar bly jy? That's how I smoke my ciggy. Like this. Apparently you're supposed to hold the joint like this. But I am not comfortable holding my joints like this. Maybe taking puffs like that. But not holding it in my hand like that. Feels good to me. Thank you. Thank you, flying alligator. Thank you, brother. Oh, sister, I appreciate you, friend. What's the movie? We follow no religion. All religions are the following of the same idea of what source is. We can't comprehend what the source of all being looks like, not even remotely. Not even remotely. All we can do is try and see that source, or try and see what it looks like within the individual beings that we get to spend time with, recognizing God in every single person in order to try and find God, not trying to find God as something, out there somewhere, here and with you. So our human mind have created multiple faces to this source that our mind can comprehend. Why we have Shiva, Jesus, Allah, etc. Just enlightened beings. Enlightened beings that had the will and the drive to actually share the stuff that they've learned. And that's all it's about. That's all it's about. That's all it's ever been about. You can think about Terence McKenna, you can think about Alan Watts, Ram Dass. Those are also big names in my mind when it comes to beings that have been willing to share from a genuine place, from soul. And they're inspirations to me. Absolute inspirations to me. Heather, Teddy. Teddy is one of those as well, and you completely know. Hi, Heather. Alice Ross. I leef in Alice Ross. Okay. Hoe is Alice Ross, my vriend? Het gereend also ook? Alice Ross is a place here in South Africa. And I've asked our new friend if it's been raining there as well. Maybe the rain is going that side. Today's whole message, feeling, intention was around tough love. Around being hurtful with the intention of being helpful. And it's not, you're not intending to be hurtful, but some things that we have to say might be interpreted as such. And after having an exchange like that with a friend, it was like he got some momentum. He reached out to some friends. He reached out to my dad. He listened. And if I was only compassionate, if I was only soft, if I was only in the way that I consider it loving, then there would not have been growth. At least there wouldn't have been growth in the right direction. Hi, what's poppin'? Buyers? Who? Not too much, friend. There's birds around me, some bugs. It's kind of quiet. What's poppin' with you? Hi, Jovan. When are we gonna see your beautiful burb again? I'm curious as well, actually. Thought. Tough love takes a robe. Takes a robe. A rogue individual? Takes a rogue individual? Takes a rogue individual. Rogue individual? Do you have to be in a robe? Heather, help me. Help me dig me out of the hole. Funny thing is, I think I missed that one. The books created and based on the gods are just guidelines to show gratitude to the being that has been created, that the being that has created us. Funny thing is, we need no books, rituals, or rules. We just need to feel gratitude for everything and be kind to one another. It's not that difficult, Heather. Heather. Candace, sorry. It's not that difficult, right? Uncle Becky's words come to my mind. It ain't that hard to act right. It ain't that hard. I can't do an American accent, especially not a Texan one. It ain't that hard to act right. Maybe that's closer. Yeah, it ain't that hard to act right, friends. At our church, the minister did a sermon about pruning. He said that God prunes our lives sometimes. I think you meant the same thing when you said impermanence is the universe's tough love. Yeah? Wow, Jenny. It's crazy to me that. Was that recent that he had that sermon? More synchronicity. Start twerking. Mike, I'm still waiting for my $111 Patreon sign up, dude. Can't start twerking unless that, money hits the bank. Gonna get myself a decent camera so you can have HD twerking vision, dude. Don't you think that's the best? Oh goodness. I need to stream again. How about tomorrow? Please, Jovan, please. I want to see some more art. I wanted to ask you about that, but I didn't want to push. A tough individual. Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So it was recent. Synchronicity. Pruning. What are the odds, actually? I guess not that unlikely. People prune things a lot, right? I am flying alligators. It helps me see the world differently. I sold everything in 2014 to travel the world. I love that. I learned a lot, but I can't travel now. I'm recovering from whole COVID. From whole COVID. I don't know what the whole COVID is. Like you got COVID in the hole. I live in Europe and I'm getting better. Sister, happy to be here with you. Okay, thank you, my sister. I appreciate you so much. I'm happy to hear you're getting better. Recovering from a whole of COVID. Maybe like you've had COVID for a while now and you're recovering from that. I hope you recover fast. And are you going to start traveling again after getting better? And if you are, where do you plan on going? And where have you been, if you're willing to share? I have a child that needs tough love. I'm not strong enough to give it. Didn't even consider that, Heather. Today, I was thinking about myself in context of tough love as well, and I don't know if I can say I congratulated. I admitted. I acknowledged. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I acknowledged that I did something right. A few streams ago, one of my brother's friends was driving my brother's motorcycle and was asking me, can he drive on the grass behind me? And that motorcycle is a 300cc two-stroke motorcycle. So they are extremely powerful. Extremely powerful motorcycles. Like downright dangerous. Like it's scary riding that motorcycle. Like you have to hold on to it. It feels like it wants to get out from under you. Very dangerous motorcycle. And he comes up close, and he's like, "Can I ride on the grass?" And without missing a beat, I just say no, no, no. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about my, I guess, want sometimes to be accepted, to be loved, to be appreciated, and how saying no could stop that, if you will, could make it not be so. But in that moment and in my current state of being, I'm okay with saying no to things. I'm okay with putting my foot down and loving toughly, if you will. Heather, I'm so sorry to hear you feel like you don't have the strength to give it. Hopefully we can give you some strength. You are strong. You are strong. I have a child that had a lot of friends and family advise me to apply tough love, but I prefer to let her grow her own way. Nothing terrible has happened yet. She's 21 now. Jenny, my parents also let me grow a lot by myself. A lot by myself. And I feel if they tried to tough love me into something else, I would have probably not turned out well. I don't think I turned out well initially coming out of, the household, but that kind of helped me grow into something else as well. If I had to deal with all of that forcing and then the resentment that would come with that towards my parents, I do not think it would have been beneficial. So I think you're fine. That's what I'm saying. We've gone to Buddhist temples, mosques, Mormons, Mennonites, etc. And they're all beautiful in their own way, both community and structure. It is about community at the end of the day, right, Candace? It's just about community, sharing a community with one another, and then feeling because you have this community that there is a sense of familiarity. And religion has become that, but again, it creates an in group and an out group, and hopefully, like at least I'm trying to create an in group of people that love to see love, beauty, you know, absolutely awe-inspired, mind-blowing, melting away, and being able to share those experiences of other beings, as opposed to this world is horrible, this person is horrible, this thing is horrible, did you hear what this person is doing? Like we don't benefit from conversations like that. So we find ourselves not having the conversations. I'm not strong enough. Mel can actually put that in my Patreon bio. Toasty, like the thing is, maybe I'll put like a could in there somewhere. I could start twerking. No, 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 just like it's possible. It's possible. You don't know. But the problem is, I do not. I cannot. I do not know how to twerk properly. You can have it as a block tier. 42069 unlocks the twerk video. It's like not even visible right now. Maybe I should do it. Nice. Have you ever had to prune parts of yourself, attitude, personality? I'd say parts of my ego had to go at many points. Oh, absolutely. Parts of my ego that I had to let go of is pride. I was, still am sometimes, very proud. And that pride leads me to having problems with respect, both for others and when others don't have respect for me. And those parts of myself I had to let die. I had to cut them out of myself and let them die. And they can still kind of sprout back, they can still kind of start to make new life. And now it's an act of snipping of it again when I see it coming up. So yes, absolutely, Golden Trunks. Absolutely. And that's just one of them. I used to be extremely aggressive as well because it made me feel powerful. But no. In fact, less powerful by trying to exercise power. So I had to let that part of myself die as well, friend. How about you? I think it's easier to picture ourselves on the receiving end of tough love, but picture the strength, guts, awareness, and willingness to be rejected, to give it. Especially if you feel you're going to be lowering your likability in doing so. Right, Heather? I feel that's also something we're so intimidated by, is like saying no, showing that tough love causes the potential or creates a scenario in which a person can like us less. And if we are fundamentally ego driven to the point where this person's like of us is more important than our ability to share valuable information with them, then we're being selfish. Then we're not, we don't have the right intention. Even without sharing the tough love, we have the wrong intention. And you can share that tough love with the right intention. And I think that's the value, the message we got from today. Thanks to Toast. I think I need to work on sacrificing my comfort to someone else's. I'm a yes lady. It's always been a really hard for me to say no. For me too, Jovan. For me too, my friend. And that's why that scenario came up to my mind, because it was the first time in years that I just blatantly said no to a person. And I was thinking about that. I was like, holy shit. Did I actually say no to someone? What the fuck? I didn't know I can do that. You are the best parents for your child. Thank you. That's a good point, actually. They chose you, friends. You know, your child chose you. As much as you chose this life, your child chose you as well. Turned out well. Seems like such a limiting statement. You know, I'm still turning out, Edmund. Makes me think of that AJR song. I'm still turning out, friend. I'm not turned out. Um, turning out constantly, man. I had a friend who passed away while riding a motorcycle and being drunk. By the way, the bike was 1000 cc. Yes, those things. Happened 4 years ago. He was 22. The only tough love you could show him was the day was beat him up until he passed out. He would be here. Sarah's, this, I feel that this is going to be tough love. And since this is today's topic, I feel like it's appropriate to share in this way. Your friend, his experience, his life, even though he passed away at 22, is just as full, just as experienced as a life of 100 years, of 1,000 years, of 10,000 years. You know, he lived his life. He lived the life where he got to drive a fast motorcycle, and he lived the life where he liked getting drunk and drive his fast motorcycle. And the life he lived led to him passing away, as the life we live is eventually going to lead us to passing away. So I don't know if this is tough love or if it's just being realistic, but your friend lived the life that he was supposed to, my friend. He lived the life that he was supposed to. And if anything, we share tough love with our loved ones, our friends, because we want them to live this life with us. And it might be a little bit selfish in that way. Maybe, if anything, loving them in a way where we want them to have a good experience is all we can hope. But if your friend, as you said, like the only way for you to get him to stop doing what he was doing is to beat him unconscious, then you're not loving him. You know, you're not allowing him to live his life. If you've tried to talk to him about this and he's still going on his own way, if you've tried the tough love with him, then the tough love has been loved, you know, you have tried. It's only that much we can expect of ourselves. But we have to expect at least something of ourselves. I just want people to know it's okay to outgrow religion. What a beautiful point that is, Toasty. It's okay to outgrow religion. Because a lot of us, you know, find ourselves growing up in households where our parents were slash still are religious beings. And as a result of that belief and just what comes along with the bias of being a child, you imprint, you absorb the information your parents share with you, and you take it as fact. You have to take it as fact, because if you don't listen, you get burned. At least when you're young, you know, if your mom tells you don't touch that hot stove top and you do, then you get burned. So instantly it gets like neurologically imprinted in your brain. My mom says something and it's a truth statement. So if your mom says to you that there is this entity, this deity somewhere out there, and you have to say this entity's name and then say this, you know, sentence, magic words, then you can go wherever that entity is. Oh man, it sounds so contrived when I say it like that, but you believe it as a child because okay, I guess I burned my fingers when I touched the stovetop. I guess this is true as well. And it's like people have this fear. Hello. Hope he wants to come outside. People have this fear of no longer being that. You know, feeling like they're no longer hello. Feeling like they're no longer compatible, no longer related to the communities that they've been a part of, to their family. It's okay to outgrow religion. Don't bite my face. Don't you bite my face. Don't you bite my face. Mm, or at least the very least. Or at the very least question it. Yeah, absolutely. It's okay to question it as well, you know. It's also something people should realize. I've always said I'm a great friend, but I have to be tough. I'm not a great parent, lol, because I don't have the confidence to risk them thinking highly. I don't have the confidence to risk them thinking highly of me. Perhaps I think about it wrong. I've known for a long time that worrying about my feelings versus their progress is selfish. I'm still working on the solution. Heather, you're aware. You're aware, and that is more than you can expect, you know, of most people. So at least give yourself that. Angela, thank you for the helpful, my friend. So nice to have you here. How have you been? How's the new year been? Growing up, I was taught to believe my parents were infallible and knew everything. Don't question their authority. It was a shock when that whale was left. Same, dude. Same. I'm sure they already think highly of you, Heather, especially when you show them how real you are. We're our own hardest critics sometimes. Most of the time, Jovan. Most of the time. Unfortunately, that is true. But if we raise and love our children in our fragility and be transparent about it, I believe we can really inspire humanity with our kids like that. I feel it's happening right now, Toast. You know, the kids that are being born right now and the kids that we'll be having at some point are going to be these beings that can help this world. We want to be these beings that can help the world, and if you can teach that energy, that incentive to someone else, you know, to a little being that believes that we're infallible, even if we aren't. It is the initial belief. And that belief in this infallible is that love is true and that we can make the world a better place just by being in it. Then, you know, our kids are gonna be good. Mexican, Mexicanos, Mexican case. Can you relax? Huh? Can you relax a little bit for me? Relax. Huh? You wanna lay down? No. I'm sure I think of you. They do. Heather, your kids love you, my friend, so much. Thank you for the help again, Angela. Hearing you say that way, Toasty, makes me think that maybe I'm not such an ass for being weak in that way. Of course not. Not even a little bit, Heather. Don't say that about yourself. Brilliant wee bug. Isn't she cute? Isn't she cute? She's a little shenanigans machine. But she's making me, at least percentage wise, a third individual as well. But I'm honest, I speak human to human with my son rather than push him to doing something he is vastly uncomfortable with. Human to human. I feel that would be the only way to do it. You know, to not pretend like you're this being outside of this human scenario. You know, like you're the person, I'm this god entity, if you will, and I can know everything, and I give you your food, and if I don't give you food, then you die. Type of, you know, power balance slash differential. Being human to human with your kid is the only thing you can hope to do, my friend. How to play this game? A stranger and afraid. You're playing it, friend. You're playing it. Keep eating, keep showing up, keep being kind to people, my friend. It's the only way to win this game. Imagine the emotional capacity of the future evolved humans. I cannot even imagine a Toast. I feel I cannot even imagine our emotional capacity 5 years from now. I feel my emotional capacity has grown tenfold in the last year that we've been doing this. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, goodness. Oh, the cuddles. We were never evolved to be aware of the trials and turmoils and tribulations of all people around the world. The psychological challenges we face are new to our species. Future advanced humans are going to be emotional superheroes. I hope. We're creating it, my friend. We're believing it in this moment. It's like putting that energy forward. We are already emotional superheroes, and we can't expect ourselves to be real superheroes in the context of the world we can live in. You know, we see these Superman movies, Batman movies, you know, Superman being an actual alien from another planet, Batman having more money than he can ever spend in his entire existence. Inachievable ways for us to be superheroes. But we can, in fact, be emotional superheroes. We can save each other emotionally. We can stop the bus that is speeding down at us emotionally. We can save the bus full of people out of the water emotionally. You know, and if we can allow ourselves to be emotional superheroes to the people in our lives, then more of us will be saved. It's inevitable. We're all aware of bills, money, how jobs work as young kids, what we must pay for electricity and water, etc. Or do you believe kids should not have this in their minds? I don't think at first they need to have that in their minds. You know, I think allowing them a certain level of, I want to say, ignorance with that is very beneficial. But maybe when they get into high school, at least when they start to become teenagers, it's important to start integrating those understandings. Random question, but sort of related. No, it's a good question. Thank you, Heather. I hope that answer suffices. Friends, I am going to say goodbye for today. Woo! Bending the little tree. Up, dude, for the cute popper. Thank you, friend. Cute Popper appreciates your updates. To you friends who are here right now, you know, I know this is uncomfortable for me as well. If it's uncomfortable for you, imagine how uncomfortable it is for me. But if you are willing to support me, if I've given you more energy than a coffee, you can buy me a coffee. I have a buy me a coffee account. It's on the Reddit profile. Or, you know, we have a PayPal. We do have a Patreon where I share the works of art that I make, fold fractals, actual three-dimensional fractals that I, you know, compose, if you will. I'm trying to share love, my friends, and you sharing love with me back has been actually life-changing. Thank you, Jovan. Goodness. Thank you so much. So much. Lovely evening, buddy. Don't drink no more coffee. No, I'm not gonna drink a single sip more coffee. I'm gonna drink water. I think I might even take a melatonin pill to go to sleep early tonight because my mind is already running again. Love you, Lieutenant Dan. Thank you, my friend. It's so nice to have you here, even though it's, you know, at the end. I appreciate you, friends. It's worth it. Thank you, Toast. Thank you so much. Yeah, for a Dara. A single, well, $1.11, you can have access to all of the works of art. I'm gonna go and make today's right now. I appreciate you, friends. Say goodbye to the people, puppy long stockings. Oh, shabash, bash. Love you, friends. See you again tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Bye, my friends. So much love to you. That's a mess. Puppy long stockings.